Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca, and here in my little corner of the web, I like to talk about budgeting and money and all things finance. And today I am sharing my March 2021 budget wrap up. So March was a crazy month for us for a lot of reasons. We took a trip, we moved out of our house and temporarily in with our in-laws while we renovate our own house. So you can see, actually, if you notice, I am filming in a new location and I am just flying by the seat of my pants these days. I feel like we are so busy with all of our renovations and I'm just trying to make it. But I will just get into the budget. So the first four sections of our income, I haven't actually written out the actuals on this page, but I keep those private just for Jared's privacy. My husband, he, doesn't ask to be on this channel, but we each have two sources of income. And then I do share our miscellaneous, which line item, which is really just the rent that we were getting from renters who were in our house temporarily while we were waiting for our own lease to end. And then kind of, any other random money. So this month I planned to get $16.26 from the renters, just for $1,300 for rent, and then $326 for rent, utilities. Sorry, but we actually worked up a deal where they didn't have to pay the utilities because we were gonna take the property back a week early, and that was like about a week of rent. So they gave us $1,300, but then we actually had $137 of other income, which was just, I think, what was that? The sale of something and credit card rebates, maybe. I don't like something completely random. So that category was 1437.58, and our total income for the month was $7,703.16. And so the number did come in higher than like I'd initially budgeted, but not from the income sources that we'd kind of planned. So I'm trying to really figure out what our budget, what I should budget in the coming months, because Jared's income has been a little wonky, just like changing in different amounts. And so I'm having a hard time pinpointing what it's going to be. So I just keep lowering it just in case, I would much rather come in higher than lower. So you may see more actuals higher than budget if I am trying to figure it out. Hopefully that's what you see. And then moving down to my bill section, the first thing in our budget is always our tithe. It's not really a bill, but we give our first fruits to the church. So this month we actually tithed $847.01. And then our apartment water. So I thought that we would have to pay a water bill, but they actually, when we moved out of our apartment, which was mid-March, for a little background on that, if you haven't ever seen my videos before, my husband and I bought our first house in September of 2020, but our lease didn't end until March, and it cost $4,000 to break it. So we just got some short-term renters in our home while we finished out our lease, and it ended. So now we're in the process of moving. But anyway, they just took our water out of like our security deposit. So they said like if there's any left in the security deposit, basically, like we'll send you a check. So it was like $150 security deposit, I think, that we put down when we moved in. And the water bill for the last 3 months was like $138. So that was completely covered. So that's zero. And I think we'll be getting like a $12 check in the mail. Haven't received it yet, but I think so. And then my phone bill was $44. That's always the same. I just pay it to my mom. Our Wi-Fi, this is the last month of paying for the Wi-Fi at our apartment. Glad to be rid of that. And then our apartment electricity was $107. I budgeted $100, but it was $107, which was okay. And then our car insurance is always $153.93. Jared's health insurance is $160.37. And our renter's insurance, so I thought it would be like the normal $12.09. But I guess like I canceled it the day our lease ended and we moved out. So it was a prorated and we only had to pay $409, which was nice because, I'd have to pay the full amount. And then I always skip a line, and then these are the bills for our house, which we always have just had our renters reimburse us for. But obviously, now that we will be in our house, I will be only keeping track of one set of utility bills. So I'm probably going to rearrange my budget template because I won't need all these lines for bills. But our mortgage is always $1,200, and the Wi-Fi is $69.81. Water sewer trash was $93.73. Our electricity was $128.74, and I already knew that one when I made this budget. And the natural gas, same with this, was $77.89. And something weird happened with our natural gas because like I always get billings at random times and sometimes multiple times in a month, and I got a bill like near the end of March that said like instead of having a balance, it had a negative balance of $50. Like I'd overpaid $50, and so now I have a $50 credit to my account. So I don't really know what'll happen in April, but I was like, this is so weird. I cannot figure out what they're doing over there because my bill is always so wonky. But that is all of our bills. So the total for that category was $29.57.72, and I am so glad that all of our second utilities are dropping off because I'm ready to see this number go back to like a normal amount for us. And then moving into our expenses. So this is where we had a lot happening this month. So when I initially made this budget, a lot of these numbers were just really rough estimates. So I wasn't quite sure what certain categories would look like. And some of them was pretty close, but others I was under by a lot. So our groceries and household, I've only budgeted $200 because we were going on our vacation the first week in March, and then we've been living with my in-laws. So I didn't really know how much we would be spending in groceries. We usually spend like $400, but so I only budgeted $200. We actually ended up spending $238.40, and a little bit of this is because we just out of convenience because we have not had any time this month. We had to go to the grocery store in town, which is a Brookshire's, and it's much more expensive than like the Kroger, or where I usually go is Aldi, which is now pretty far away. So it's like an extra special trip that we'll have to make to get those cheaper groceries. But that's just what happened. We've honestly, like, we both work full time. And so we've been working all day. And then in the evenings, we've been working on our house renovations and then all weekend working on them as well. It's been a bit more involved than I initially thought it would be. And I guess that's always how it goes. I thought it would be really simple and take like a week, 2 weeks, but it's now been, I think we're coming up on the third weekend and it's just slow going. So it's taken a long time. But for eating out, we also way overspent on this category. And this is just because we have not had our own kitchen and it's just been very difficult. So we spent $237.83, which is obviously not ideal. And I would have liked to keep it under, but I kind of figured it would be a little bit more this month just because of our situation. So I'm not going to beat myself up over it, but next month we will for sure do better. And then gas, this category, I guess we're driving more. And then I also know that gas prices have risen because we actually ended up spending $96.20, which was, I guess, like probably a new normal, and I should bring the budget up to that. But it's been so low for so long that I kind of forgot how much gas costs. But luckily I drive a Prius and I work from home, so I don't spend a lot on gas. But Jared is spending more driving because he's a little further he teaches music lessons and he's a little further from the school now that we've moved. So we are living with our in-laws, but they're actually like right down the block from our new house. So it's about the same distance as it'll be obviously when we move into our own house. But so that's kind of the new normal. And then Jared's allowance, I had budgeted initially, we were thinking $200, which was like his normal $100, and then we'd put aside $100 for a new phone because he needs one pretty badly. But we just didn't have room in the budget to make getting that, like putting money aside for the phone, a priority this month. So he spent $31.15. And then we just kind of moved the rest of it to other categories. That's kind of how I just try to spend as little as I can in categories and then use all of the surplus for whatever goal we're working on. So if we don't spend as much money as in the category, I just move it. And then if we spend more, I have to put less towards our goal. So for my allowance, I spent $73.83. And then subscriptions, we spent $67.62, and I think we got a new subscription this month. I can't remember what it was, but which is what made the cost go up. So the cost might be more like $70 every month now. And that's just for like Apple Music. We have a like Apple Storage, PayPal, Google Cloud Storage, that kind of stuff goes in there. And then gifts, we had one birthday this month and I budgeted 50, we spent 49. So that was pretty good. And then travel. This is where I really just did not budget well. So I had budgeted 600 and I am actually planning on doing a whole video of how much we spent on our trip. We went to Tulum, Mexico, and it was such a blast. We had such a great time. But I severely underestimated the amount of money we'd spend on food, and I hadn't actually planned on like doing any excursions. And then we just decided like we spent so much money to get here, like let's enjoy ourselves. So we actually ended up spending $916.90, and most of this was food. The food was really expensive, and like part of it, like we stayed in town for half of our vacation, and that was really cheap. But then we stayed at the beach the second half, and that was like high American prices for food. And we're staying in a hotel room, so we couldn't cook any of our own meals, and there's not even a grocery store around. So it's just a lot of eating out, and we did our best, but still is quite a bit. And then we also had like transportation costs in that, like taxis that we had to take, and our excursions. So that's how much we spent this month. But, I don't regret it. We really love to travel, and we want that to be a priority. So I'm not going to be, too upset. If it were a wildly larger number, yeah, I would have been upset. But I think $300 over what I'd planned wasn't too bad, especially when I really was kind of just throwing that number out. Oh, and we had to pay for COVID tests. That too. But our next category, moving in house. So this is actually something that I have had a sinking fund for. And so I budgeted $1,400, and I'm just going to write that we spent $1,400 because we definitely spent more, but everything else we took from the sinking fund. So we actually spent this month $3,525 on moving and house stuff. So this was like our U-Haul was the teensiest portion of it, but then all of our renovations we bought all the wood to do all the trim in our house. We redoing it. We bought these fun ceiling tiles that we were using for our project. We bought some shiplap, a bunch of like nails, screws, that kind of stuff, paint, a lot of paint because we repainted the whole inside of the house, some light fixtures, all that good stuff, and a rug, and that ended up costing that much. But we had money in like our savings account set aside for that I've been saving for since we bought the house, knowing we'd be doing these renovations. So I don't like to put that money as income and then also as expenses, because I feel like that kind of falsely inflates how much we made and how much we spent. I don't really like to do that. So I just like keep that number separate, don't actually put it in the budget, but I subtract that from our savings account and move it back into our checking account when I spend it. So, but we did definitely spend the max of what I'd budgeted in our regular income. And then miscellaneous, we only spent $20, which is pretty good for us. I think that was like something to do with a toll tag, like auto fee, and that's it. So our actual for our expenses category was $3,130.93. So this was definitely a high spend month. Obviously, usually these categories are not in our budget, and it's much more reasonable. And then our savings items. So every month we're putting $100 towards our emergency fund now. So I think right now it has $5,300 in it. No, yes, $5,300. I just am doing that a little bit because it's not our main goal right now. We're trying to pay off debt and then finish out our 6-month emergency fund. But right now, I'd like to be putting a little bit towards it every month. And then debt holding. So this is a category that I just recently started in the month of February, I guess. And I've talked about this before, but this is just money that I'm setting aside for my student loan, which is our current like financial priority, is paying that off. But they're on hold right now, and just in case they get forgiven, I decided to stop paying on them and put the money in our savings account with the plan to just pay it in a lump sum in September when the forbearance ends. So that's what I'm doing. But I've been writing like my student loan number down here at the like beginning because I just think it looks better down there. But so I'd planned to allocate $1,470 towards my debt, and we were only able to do $1,134.50. Ooh, I went like a little off there. Let me fix that. Oh, whiteout is my best friend. $4.51. So less than we'd planned, which is not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. And then investments, I'd planned for 100, but we actually did 130. And this is mostly into my Roth IRA, which we have set up just to do a little bit each month right now as we focus on my debt. But we also have been doing Jared's really into single stocks investing. So we did $30 into, it's really cool. We have Schwab Bank and they have brokerage and stock trading built in, which is really nice. And we have them because they have international travel with no ATM fees, which is really nice because we like to travel internationally. But they just introduced stock slices, so you can buy portions of a stock. So we bought some portions of, Jared wanted to buy Tesla and a stock called Nvidia. I don't know anything about it, but he read that was a good stock. So that's what we bought with $30. And then travel, obviously we didn't save anything this month because we spent so much. And then gifts, we actually put $20 into the cash envelope just because I had a 20 on hand. But I am thinking that I soon will be opening just another savings account at the bank because I'm starting to get a lot of money in my health savings envelope and my auto savings envelope. And I feel like it's not really wise to have that much cash just in the house. I'm not a cash spender at all. So I started doing sinking funds with cash way back when I used to get paid with cash. So it's really easy for me to just I would just take a 20 out, of my cash before I deposit it into the bank. And that would be my sinking fund. But now it's an extra step to take it out because then I don't actually spend the cash when we spend it. So I have to go deposit it into the bank. So it's not the best system. So I think I'm going to change that pretty soon. But anyway, that's what we did. And then health, the regular $100. And then home maintenance and reno. We definitely did not save anything. Oh, wait, I skipped auto. Sorry. Just right over it. We put 130 towards auto. And then home maintenance and reno, we definitely didn't save anything this month because we spent basically almost all of it, all of our savings, which is okay because we bought everything we needed to do our projects that we'd saved for. So the total of our savings category is $1,614.51. And then for debt, I'll just do a line through that because I didn't actually to pay it off this month in the portal. So that is my zero-based budget. And I've been filling out this little section because the back of my planner actually has the same thing. So one is just all of the same categories. So it's if I write it on my little budget template, it'll make it easier to fill out back there. So, because I make this template every month and I usually put it in the description if anyone wants to download it for free because, I spend a lot of time making it, so I might as well share it with people. So, we had that 7,700, out 5241.64. Giving, we gave 847.01. Savings 1614.51. And I wrote this and I'm just I'm saying, is it a balanced budget? And the answer is yes. So that is it for me for this month. I am doing this, I should have mentioned this at the beginning, in my plum paper planner. And I actually create this little spreadsheet. So this is not what the planner looks like, but if you're interested in purchasing this planner and you are a first-time shopper, I have a coupon code and instructions for how to get that are in the description. You can just send me an email and I will set that up for you. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week.